bacteria excrete toxin into the food, and then when you eat the food, it's the toxin you're ingesting. So reheat your leftovers. That's the bottom line. And I know. I saw somebody eating cold pizza and cold leftover Chinese food, and we do it all the time. You never think about it. The occurrence is relatively rare. It's pretty rare occurrence.
So if your food sits and you go to a restaurant and it sits in a to-go container in your car, I don't know, for an hour, and then it sits on your counter, and then it eventually makes its way into your refrigerator, as long as you reheat it,
yes, you should reheat it.
You'll be okay?
Yeah, hopefully. I don't guarantee.
Hopefully. So like raw vegetables on it.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried
Like
about,
raw
vegetables.
vegetables.
What about things that come from the ground?
Vegetable, if you, like, remember I said I got a salad and had a clump of dirt in it?
Right.
Okay, suppose I ate it. I
Right.
probably would have just pooped out endospore, dirt and everything. Nothing would have happened. It's if the endospore is in the right conditions. Remember, they need anaerobic conditions. That's why canned foods, because it's an anaerobic environment in that can. There was a recall on cream of mushroom soup. Remember that? Because mushrooms grow in the dirt. So potentially there's endospores on the mushroom. You make mushroom soup out of it. When you can it, that's just the right environment for them to germinate.
Not anymore.
Yes, because the tin foil creates the right environment. Yep, exactly. So that's why you're not supposed to use tin foil. Let's see what else I was going to tell you about today.
Just eat cookies.
I know, right? Just don't eat anything.
Gross. Yeah,
Don't drink
thanks.
water. Don't drink beer.
It's like I don't want to have sex. I don't.
I don't want to have sex. I don't want to eat.
Class is so great.
I have a question, Professor.
Yeah.
Look, I was on a vacation and I got a food poisoning.
Yeah.
My symptoms were a fever first, and then I had like diarrhea, but the doctor thought I had like extreme sun exposure.
Yeah.
So after he gave me a shot, I started to throw up. So yeah, I don't know. So is it gonna be food infection or food intoxication in this case? I don't know.
It could have been viral. It could have been. How? Did you
Okay,
have
what
bloody
was-
stool, or stool was not bloody, just diarrhea?
No, just diarrhea. Because it was.
It was immediate. He said it was sun exposure because the extreme sun exposure can cause your body to dehydrate and everything, and that's the diarrhea and the fever. You can get a fever from sunburn.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, so you might not have had food poisoning. It might have been sun exposure.
No, because I had always like the hat, and then after when we called again, he came back again after like I had the throw up, and he said, "Oh, you had food intoxication because there were a number of people in the same area who had like food intoxication."
Well, somebody cooked it.
Right after you ate, like a couple hours after you ate?
No, first was, I don't know, for some reason after I ate the lunch that day, suddenly I started to have a fever, and I couldn't, like I had to lay down. Then I started to go diarrhea, and after he gave me the shot, then I started to have throw up. So I don't know.
How long was it before you got the diarrhea?
Huh?
How long did it take to get the diarrhea?
A couple of hours after I got it.
Yeah. It could have been either one, actually.
If it happens immediately, it's a gram positive.
Yeah, probably. Or again, it could be viral. All right. Let's see here. Let's do some more funky bacteria that I wanted to tell you about.
What are those? What do you have over there? On the side.
Professor, what is gonococcus and maybe?
Oh yeah, okay, let's do that. Okay, so on your second test, not this one, you'll get some terms. Remember we already talked about this. If you've got the gonococcus, that means you have Neisseria gonorrhea. Or if you have gonococcal urethritis, that means your urethra is inflamed from gonorrhea. If you have meningococcus, that means you have Neisseria meningitis. Then there's another word, pneumococcus. Now, first point is, these are not genus names. These are general terms, okay? Kind of like slang for doctors. Pneumococcus is a totally different kind of bacterium. Pneumococcus refers to streptococcus, and you'll see it and when you look at your streptococcus groups, your GAS, your GBS, whatever. This is streptococcus, commonly associated with ear, nose, and throat infections.
Oh.
Right? No, I don't like ENT because it sounds like enteric. So earaches, right? Ear, nose, and throat infections.
So this is what causes the ear infection?
Yeah. So they might not even know exactly what species it is, but they know it's in that streptococcus arena, and they just call it pneumococcus. And being that they know it's streptococcus, which it usually is for everybody, and then they can just give you the right kind of antibiotic. Usually they'll give you amoxicillin or ampicillin or amoxicillin. Ampicillin would be gram-negative. They'll give you, the pink antibiotic drops you give little kids.
Amoxicillin?
Yeah, amoxicillin.
They gave me this antibiotic against it.
So if you have pneumococcus, that's streptococcus that causes ear, nose, and throat infections. Totally different thing from gonococcus or meningococcus.
What's the meningococcus again?
Meningitis, Neisseria meningitidis. Couple other ones I want to tell you about. So, since you took a picture of this, you have to send that to me because I want to write that down. I'm trying to get my whole lectures organized with the book, and okay, I'm going to leave it for a minute too. Okay, let's talk about some bacteria that may or may not be on your list, but bacteria I want you to know about if you're going to work in healthcare. So you know, we have a problem with antibiotic-resistant bacteria, right? They probably developed more antibiotic resistance because they've been exposed to antibiotics through patients in the hospital. And we tend to call them superbugs. And there's a particular group called escape. Your escape pathogens. This does not include every superbug in the world, but it encompasses a good deal of them. So what does escape stand for? You can Google it. All you have to do is type in ESKAPE and you'll get up all kinds of stuff, all kinds of documents you can click on. Essentially, they're a group of superbugs that are a concern in the hospitals, and they just so happen to fit them into this nice, neat little acronym, so they're easy to remember. Enterococcus faecium. The old-fashioned spelling would be F-A-E. The new-fashioned spelling is F-E-C. Oh, no, I think it's supposed to be like that, faecium. But you might see F-E-C without the A. Or it could even be fecalis. If you ask me, I'm a generalist, I would say it's the same thing. If you go to a specialist, they'll say, no. This is the one. That's VREF. Not this one. I'm like, whatever, the same thing. Where do you think it comes from?
Well,
Feces.
in your gut,
Yeah, your digestive tract,
And feces.
the lower part, because it's fecal. So, remember family Enterobacteriaceae, section 5, facultatively anaerobic gram-negative rods? Of course you do. There are gut bacteria, bowel bacteria, gut bacteria, fecal bacteria, gram-negative, right? Here's fecal bacteria, it's not gram-negative. This is in division 2, gram-positive cocci, right? You may have heard of VREF or VRE. We used to call it VRE. On your test, I gave it 4 letters so it would fit with everything else. I call it VREF. so you don't have to use that, but on your test you'll see I use that. Vancomycin resistant. Okay, there goes my stomach again. Why isn't it 3:30 yet? What do we got, like, we have 50 minutes to go and I'm hungry. VREF, vancomycin resistant enterococcus faecalis. That's what the E stands for. On your second test, you're going to get a lot of questions about your streptococcus groups, and you're going to get a lot of questions about your escape group. Because when you're working in a hospital, these are the things that are going to be a problem for your patients. What do you think the S stands for? Good. No ordinary Staphylococcus aureus. Just my name there. But probably the methicillin-resistant Staph aureus. Okay. Dr. Fleming discovered penicillin, isolated it from Penicillium mold, right? Pharmaceutical companies started manufacturing penicillin. Penicillin worked well on gram-positive bacteria. Sometimes you'd have a mixed infection though. In fact, think about a urinary tract infection. You might have some E. coli in there, and you might have some Enterococcus faecalis in there. You might also have some Staphylococcus saprophyticus, one of the most common causes of urinary tract infections, not in the hospital but at home, from getting fecal material into your urethra. So they then invented ampicillin. Ampicillin is a derivative of penicillin.